Taking back to the beginning of 2019, there are a lot of animes have been made, and a lot of them were really good anime. But if you're still confused about what anime you should watch first from winter season of 2019, then we made a list of 5 recommendation anime you should watch from winter 2019. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest video. So let's check this out. Number 5. DORORO. DORORO is an anime adaptation with the same name, made by legendary author Osamu Tezuka. The manga itself published in 1967 to 1968 and had an anime adaptation before in 1969. So you can consider this anime as a remake as well. DORORO telling story about the greedy samurai lord Daigo Kagemitsu who had dying land, and he would do anything for power, even renounce Buddha and make a pact with demons. His prayers are answered by 12 demons who grant him the power he desires by aiding his prefecture's growth, but at a price. When Kagemitsu's first son is born, the boy has no limbs, no nose, no eyes, no ears, nor even skin, yet he lives. This child is disposed of in a river and forgotten, but as luck would have it, he is saved by a medicine man who provides him with prosthetics and weapons, allowing for him to survive and fend for himself. The boy lives and grows, and although he cannot see, hear, or feel anything, he must defeat the demons that took him as a sacrifice. With the death of each one, he regains a part of himself that is rightfully his. For many years he wanders alone, until one day an orphan boy, DORORO, befriends him. The unlikely pair of castaways now fight for their survival and humanity in an unforgiving, demon-infested world. I like how this anime gave you dark fantasy themed anime with a lot of moody and dark tones inside. The episodic structure is a typical style of storytelling for this show. However, DORORO's intriguing content comes from character development. Even maybe DORORO didn't have complicated story, but the episodic nature and dark fantasy elements brings together a classic adventure. It holds itself together as a visual masterpiece with its aesthetics. So for you people who like with dark fantasy theme anime, then this anime is really perfect for you. Number 4. Tate no YUUSHA no NARIAGARI is an anime adaptation from light novel with the same name by Aneko, Yuzagi and Minami, and Seira. Tate no YUUSHA no NARIAGARI telling story about the 4 cardinal heroes, a group of ordinary men from modern-day Japan who summoned to the kingdom of Melromark to become its saviors. Melromark is a country plagued by the waves of catastrophe that have repeatedly ravaged the land and brought disaster to its citizens for centuries. The 4 heroes are respectively bestowed a sword, spear, bow, and shield to vanquish these waves. Naofumi Iwatani, an otaku, becomes cursed with the fate of being the shield hero. Armed with only a measly shield, Naofumi is belittled and ridiculed by his fellow heroes and the kingdom's people due to his weak offensive capabilities and lackluster personality. When the heroes are provided with resources and comrades to train with, Naofumi sets out with the only person willing to train alongside him, Malty Melromark. He is soon betrayed by him, however, and becomes falsely accused of taking advantage of him. Naofumi then becomes heavily discriminated and hated by the people of Melromark for something he didn't do. With a raging storm of hurt and mistrust in his heart, Naofumi begins his journey of strengthening himself and his reputation. Further along, however, the difficulty of being on his own sets in, so Naofumi buys a demi-human slave on the verge of death named Raphtalia to accompany him on his travels. As the waves approach the kingdom, Naofumi and Raphtalia must fight for the survival of the kingdom and protect the people of Melromark from their ill-fated future. Nowadays, there are a lot of isekai anime, and this anime is one of them. But for me, this anime has their own charm. The story started simple, yet strong. But when the story progressed, it became more convoluted and an amalgamation of multiple plots and the worst trait for the characters' stereotypes. In the end, I think this anime is worth a shot. Even maybe you not really like isekai theme anime. And for you who like isekai anime, then this anime is really recommended. Number 3. ENDRO is an anime adaptation from manga with the same name by Izumi Minami. ENDRO, telling story about the latest hero, Julia YUUSHA Chardetto, has almost completed her valiant campaign alongside her party members, responsible priest Seiran, Seira, Eleanor, enigmatic mage Meiza, Mei, and Dust, and hyper-energetic warrior Fai. In the final battle against the Demon Lord, YUUSHA's party attempt a risky spell to cast their enemy into the drift of time. But the incantation goes awry, sending YUUSHA and her friends back to a time before the Demon Lord, before YUUSHA becomes the hero, and before the party had even graduated as adventurers. With their memories of the future erased, the four girls restart their ambitions to become the hero's party, aspiring to defeat the Demon Lord. However, in a sudden twist of fate, the Demon Lord was also sent back in a time with her memories intact. Reduced to the form of a little girl, the Demon Lord takes the name Mao and infiltrates the adventurers' school as teacher, planning to stop YUUSHA before she becomes a hero. Thus begins the story of YUUSHA and her friends in their quest to defeat the Demon Lord, not knowing that the one they seek is right by their side. This anime was really enjoyable for me, not just because this anime was about cute girls doing cute things, but also this anime can be lighthearted and goofy at the same time. Maybe the plot wasn't the strong point of this anime, but the slice of life and comedy inside this anime was really enjoyable. So if you like anime about cute girls doing cute things with fantasy theme, then this anime is for you. Number 2. DOUKYONIN wa HIZA, Tokidoki, ATAMA no Ue. This anime is an anime adaptation from manga with the same name by Minatsuki Tsunami and Futatsuya As. This anime telling story about Subaru Mikazuki, a 23-year-old mystery novel author, major introvert, and an awkwardly shy person. He would much rather stay home to read a book than go outside and interact with others. Further exacerbating this life of solitude, his parents tragically died in an accident many years ago, leaving him alone in the world. One day, while giving offerings at his parents' grave, Subaru runs into a small gray and white cat named Haru, which he ends up taking home with him. Subaru, however, has never taken care of anyone else in his life. Can he even take care of a cat? Haru is grateful toward Subaru, as he gives her all the food she wants, a luxury for a cat who is used to a rough life on the streets. But she noticed that Subaru can't even seem to take care of himself. Will she be okay with them dons? For me, this is one of the enjoyable slice of life anime from winter 2019. The story itself really unique, but also really heartwarming at the same time. This anime gave us not only from one perspective, but also from two characters' perspective, from Subaru Mikazuki and from his cat, Haru. Overall, this anime gave us good characters, good storytelling, and good animation. So that's why this anime is really recommended for me. Number 1. KEMURIKUSA. KEMURIKUSA is an original anime produced by Studio Yaoyorozu and directed by Tatsuki. KEMURIKUSA, telling story about a few young girls with strange powers and a tree that has grown through a rail car cling onto life in a desolate land, searching for its last reservoirs of water. Their routine struggle to survive is interrupted by the arrival of Wakaba, a boy with no memory beyond his own name. The girls and their new companion commit to a perilous journey across seas of burning red fog, all in order to find what they need to sustain themselves on the more distant, dangerous islands swarming with robotic bugs. Besides the girls, Wakaba, and the hordes of ravenous bugs, the KEMURIKUSA are the last sparks of life surviving in this land. How did things end up this way? Why are there so many empty buildings with no one to live in them? Wakaba and the girls lack the answers to these questions, which means the truth can only be found within the KEMURIKUSA. I like how the anime looked really simple from the synopsis, but when you watch the anime then, you're gonna realize that this anime was kind of complex. But each episode revealed a tiny bit about the world and the character that make you really excited what's gonna happen next. For me, the characters and world building in this anime also has been done perfectly. Even maybe the animation style they brought kinda strange, but in the end, it's still good anime to watch. Well, those are the recommendation anime from winter 2019. Thank you for watching and see you guys on the next video. Bye!